Right, so I thought I'd take the opportunity now to do a quick video on this, our Westwood W11E, or I think it's the W11E, our little lawn tractor that we've got here, that we've spent many hours restoring, and I thought I'd give you a look at its history and its backstory. They're the two same things. Anyway, this is it. It's obviously in its Christmas gear here with its little red nose on, and yes, we've only just, well, we've not really finished it yet. We've got to apply the decals, obviously down the side and along the front, replace those decals and the to start ones. But yeah, this is it. We've got our beacon on the back. I'll show you it, or I'll take it out for a drive later. But I thought I'd just show you around now while we're in the garage. It's a bit cold. Might put the heater on in a minute. So yeah, I don't really know where to start here. Probably down at the engine area. So if we just take the hood off. This is the engine here. It's a Briggs & Stratton 4-cycle, 11 horsepower. Can't remember the model numbers off the top of my head, but I've got them somewhere, so I'll show you them later. It's a pull start, but it's also got an electric motor, which is very helpful. So it's got the electric start stop on it, air filter here, and gas tank, petrol tank, and the oil filler there. When we got it, I'll tell you about its backstory later, but when we got it, we were very lucky because the engine itself wasn't seized and it was able to turn nicely, but the starter motor was, and there was some problems with the magneto, so we've replaced the magneto on it because it kept grounding itself out. The fuel line was massively leaky, so we've just got a petrol filler tank down here. It's just a water hose that we've put to fill the petrol. The carb wasn't too bad either, so the carb is very original. It kept flooding a bit, but we dealt with that. It was just a problem with the float even. We've got the battery, we've replaced the battery in it obviously. Everything else is, well, the electrics we spent a great deal of time on getting the lights working. The lights are mostly original, bar the switches, and the ammeter, we've put that in. To move on, we'll move on to the lights. The brake and clutch was kind of held together a bit with a bit of a coat hanger set up, so we've worked on that and it's now works well. There's not so much of a brake, it's just more of a clutch, but it works, so we don't complain. We've got the gear select there, the wheel, the choke here. We've added this on. This is a tacho and an hour meter, so it shows us the hours. I'll turn that on in a second and I'll show you when it's running, but it shows you the RPMs and the hours. And then we've got an ammeter which we've added in, ignition, a whole new ignition switch. If I flick this on, we've got the, and this is better with the decals, so one day when we get the decals I'll show you those. This one is the clutch safe switch, so if I apply the clutch the light goes on and so on. This one is the cutter safe switch. This is engage and disengage the cutter, so if I pull that back to kind of engage it, although we don't have the cutter on, you see that light goes out and when I... Yeah, that does happen, it's not really meant to. Don't worry about that. If I reapply that, you see that the light goes back on. When those both are green, it means you can start the engine. This is the ignition light showing the ignition's on. This one here does the alternator to charge the battery, and then this one is your lights, which we've replaced. We replaced the old lights with new LEDs, and then this one is the beacon on the back. Anything else? That's it really. There's the ammeter working. I'll tell you a bit about the history while we're here. I'll just pull the hood back. We found this abandoned at a cricket club, and it was sat behind the scorebox, rotting away quite a bit really. I won't name the cricket club. Obviously we took it away with permission, and we fixed it up to get it where it is today. I might flash some pictures up to show you what it used to look like, but it's not complete yet. Obviously the steering, as I accidentally showed you earlier, needs a bit of adjustment, and we need to put the decals on, but we're getting there. So we've added a few bits on. This is only the W11, so there was a cutout there where this switch is, the beacon switch, or what is now the beacon switch, for the choke light. Obviously this is a W11, so it was only the W16 that had that. So in this series you've got the, I believe it's the W6, don't take my word on that, I need to cite those, then the W8, W11 and then the W16, all each with corresponding horsepower, the 16 with the 16 horsepower and so on. The ignition switch, I don't know why I'm moving on to this, but the ignition switch is also the cutout, acts as a cutout. We got that working rather than just the choke cutout, which is useful because in an emergency it's easier to just flick down here and flick the switch. But yes, anyway, back to the history. We brought it back, and yeah, we've repainted the bonnet and the chassis. The deck we do have, it is just behind me, but well, I might as well show you, it's just back there. We've repainted it a bit, but it needs a bit more work, and we need to make sure we're happy with the underside before we put the deck back on, and we're not sure how well it'll fit in the garage with the deck on. So yeah, I will get it started and take it out, and then I will show you it driving, and with the engine running of course, and with the lights and everything working. Right, so I'll see you in a second. Here I've told you is your brake safe light, cutter safe light, and your alternator, your ignition light, which is red, it doesn't really show up too well, there we go, your light switch, and the beacon switch at the back I've shown you. Down here, the choke, up being the full there, and the cut off, and then there being the bottom. Here's the tacho and the hour meter. If I turn it on, it's reading 1.9 hours. It also shows us the job hours, but I think you have to reset those, not got that working. And then there's the service, the hours left until service, which is in this case 18.1. It shows you the RPMs, but you can't, obviously the engine's not running. Max RPMs, we've got this up to 7,910, so quite high, well, in my opinion is. Button's a bit shoddy, but it works. Right, there we go, back to the beginning. There we've got the ammeter and the volts on the battery. The amps aren't working at the moment, not just because the engine's not on, but it's not showing the amps across the bill coming from the alternator for some reason, and we've got to work that one out. Then obviously the ignition switch, which will, I'll just take my foot off the back, it will start the engine when both those green lights are on, but because I've taken my foot off the clutch it won't, and I also don't really want it to start, and that's why I've done that. Here, I've shown you before, kind of vaguely, is the engage for the deck. You push that over and then down, and that will engage it, and it goes into that little divot there, and then you push that over and up, and that will disengage it. So it's down to engage, up to disengage, and I might show you how that works later on, not as in this video, as in a different video. Then to engage the parking brake, you press down on the clutch there, and you press down, hang on, let me get a different angle for this. You press down on the clutch there, and then you press down on this knob there, and that keeps the clutch in place. So the parking brake is more of just a parking clutch. So you push that one down again, and that springs up. In regards to controls, I think that's about it. Let's turn that one off. And then back here, obviously there's no controls, but there is the beacon, which works even when the ignition's off. It just goes straight off the battery at the moment. And then here is a trailer light socket, which was on it from standard, but we've not got that one working properly at the moment. I think all in all, that's it for this video. When we've got it working more, I might do another video showing you how it drives. And when we've got the deck on, I'll do a video on it mowing, and when I've actually got some proper work for it. In the meantime, I might do some videos on some of the other mowers and machines we've got. Over there we've got a Ransom's mower. It's usually used for wickets, things like that. It's got a JAP engine. Then just down from that we've got a Mountfield tiller with another Briggs & Stratton engine. And then up there somewhere we've got a Briggs & Stratton, not Briggs & Stratton, a Mountfield Empress 16, which also has a Briggs & Stratton engine, and it's just a smaller version of this one. I think that's all for now, so yeah, see you in the next one.